frontrunner, Donald Trump, and apparently the master of Instagram, using Instagram to blast President Obama's controversial Iran nuclear deal.
A powerful display of American leadership and diplomacy. It shows what we can accomplish when we lead from a position of strength. Iran could move closer to a nuclear bomb.
The On the Record political panel is here from the Weekly Standard, John McCormick, and the Washington Examiner chief political correspondent, Byron York. Byron, I look at this, I look at the vision, I think to myself, all the U.S. senators who've taken to the microphone, all the op-eds, everything, and Donald Trump shows up with a 20-second Instagram and punches the issue out easier.
Absolutely. He's really good at this, and this may be the first thing he's done in a few days that wasn't attacking Jeb Bush. And this is, look, it plays very, very well with Republicans who pretty much unanimously believe that President Obama is giving away the store on this deal. And just as we've seen in some of his videos attacking fellow candidates, he can be really, really effective in a very short period of time.
You know what else I think is amazing, John? He really is a good businessman. He's spending his own money in a campaign, but he's not spending any money. I mean, Instagram doesn't cost a dime. He's not rolling out all this expensive stuff. He's not spending any money.
No, he's been a master at getting a lot of earned media. I mean, all the networks are covering him.
But even Instagram's free.
Oh, yeah, and that's free, and then it gets it picked up on the news. So he's very savvy that way. I do think that it's really an effective ad in that, you know, there's so many parts of this deal that you can kind of get lost. You know, $140 billion to Iran that can go to terror, the self-inspections. But the fact that Obama went out there and basically negotiated with hostage takers and couldn't even get the hostage takers back, I mean, that just shows how pathetic this deal was. If there was any good faith on the Iranians' part, you know, these people would have been freed at the start of the negotiations. They wouldn't be still sitting there at the end of negotiations.
But I think it's fair. I mean, I think many people would say is you don't want to tie hostages to the nuclear agreement. I mean, that's a tough issue. I mean, to make sort of these pawns, because if people are going to go out and pick up a lot of Americans, and whether you agree with that or not, I mean, it's, you know, it was not so wildly unusual.
But here's a deal in which you do have bipartisan majorities opposed to this. The question now, it appears that President Obama has gotten over the veto barrier, but they still may, both the House and the Senate still may, if the Senate can get to 60 votes, pass resolutions of disapproval of this. Trump is on very solid political ground with the Republican base on this.
All right, well, Fox has just confirmed, and you'll love to hear this, John, is at 2 p.m. tomorrow, Reince Priebus is meeting with Donald Trump in New York.
Yeah, there was a report out today that there's some loyalty pledge that the RNC is trying to get candidates to take, but it's not clear that there are actually any repercussions for not signing that pledge. So that's the question that's on everyone's mind.
Meaning what? That you commit not to running as a third party?
That you would commit if you lose the nomination to supporting the candidate, and they want all the candidates to sign. So it just came out just this evening. But there's not actually any, it doesn't seem like there's any teeth to this thing. It doesn't seem like there's any punishment for not signing.
Well, how can
Priebus doesn't have law enforcement powers, so it is striking that he's doing this. And this is kind of the RNC version of Bret Baier's first question at the debate, which is asking everybody to pledge to support the Republican nominee and not run as a third-party candidate. Every other candidate has, in the 17-man race, candidate race, has already done this. So it's all about Trump. And it's going to be yet another media event.
But why would, I mean, what's in it for him to do it, John? I mean, to say that. I mean, suppose he says, I'm not going to sign your stupid pledge. I mean, I don't want to sign a pledge. I'm not going to commit myself. I mean, what's in it for Trump to sign it?
Well, I think there are a lot of Republican primary voters who are concerned about a candidate who might run third party. I think that, again, I mean, Trump's doing well now in the 20s, maybe even the low 30s in some polls, but, you know, that's not what...
Is that a deal breaker, you think, with
a lot, of course. I think a lot of people, I think, for a lot, I mean, that 70, 80% who doesn't currently support him, they're out there wondering, is this guy even, I mean, he was a Hillary Clinton supporter just a few years ago. Can we trust him?
And Trump has said himself that running as a third-party candidate, having a third-party candidate in the race would be very damaging for the Republican nominee. I asked him a couple of months ago about 1992 when Ross Perot ran. I said, was Ross Perot a spoiler? He said in a second. He said, absolutely.
For the life of me, I don't see Donald Trump sort of cowering to sort of the RNC. I mean, he hasn't shown any indication that he's going to listen to anybody. So that's what... I don't know. Maybe he'll sign it tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Maybe at 2:30 we'll know. We'll have breaking news.
We will.
Never dull. Byron, John, thank you both.